got myself one of them eye flutes, and now my right eye hurts like hell. But that's not the point of the video. So I really want to talk about what old kids YouTube was like. Well, not old, but in general, what kids YouTube looked like, because that is one quality cesspool. I tell you, quality is what is guaranteed on YouTube for kids. The peaks of quality that can be found there are non-existent. When I was watching YouTube when I was young and was unlucky enough to be watching children's content at that time, I got exposed to Elsa Gate, or Elsa Gate, whatever you want to call it. That shit is just vile, actually. This is vile. Because it is, if you haven't seen it, it's the most disgusting shit you have ever seen that is better for kids. Like, it talks about topics that most people don't, which, and the inherent curiosity that comes from that silence. And this would be not the best of things. Like, Elsa Gate wasn't good for anyone at all. Like, nowadays people may complain because of Coco Melon or other children's media being just brain waste of time. That was genuinely just bad. Like, it talked about pregnancies and other shit like that most actually no children content would ever talk about. And it contained the characters like Elsa, Spider-Man, and Joker doing very questionable shit. Very, very, very questionable shit. And as the wheels of time have turned, it hasn't got better, not by the slightest. Nowadays, we have, what do we have? A whole lot of nothing, because most of kids' content nowadays isn't much better for particularly anyone. For example, your Coco Melons. That shit just, as from the research not research, but from the stories that I've heard, the children who watch Coco Melon constantly are very hilarious, all things considered. Like, they turn zombies as soon as the Coco Melon intro comes in and then start storming in. It's funny to watch, but sad, because these kids, some kids end up with developmental problems in their basic understanding of words, because this is made for attention retainment, not for education. Coco Melon is not an educational show. It's just for your kids to turn their brains off so they can just spend a lot of time just sitting there and being distracted. And this does fall on the parents, because parents' job is to take care of their kids, because if you don't want if you didn't want to take care of them, just don't have them. It's your responsibility to take care of them. But besides the point, it's mainly parents' responsibility to take care of their kids, which end up as iPad kids. Another thing that I find funny is iPad kids. Like, it's the most hilarious thing to see. Someone freak out over their iPad being taken. It's funny as can be, funny as hell. But it's still sad knowing that these kids have spent a lot of their lives just glued to their phones and wasting their childhoods. Just sad, but hey, it's again the parents' fault, not the child's fault. And it's not even good media on the internet. Like, children are just watching the most dog shit thing ever. These people Like, I've seen a lot of kids watching a lot of, well, nonsensical, completely useless videos about people driving a bunch of cars, people doing shit. And as when I was a kid, I also watched this kind of stuff a fair bit. But the difference is that not the major difference, but there's a slight difference. I never had very early childhood, never really got too exposed to the internet, so I loved physical sports, playing sports and cycling. So I feel like, well, my early childhood was spent well, and what I remember of it, I remember it very fondly, except the parts of me watching dog shit internet things like 5 minute crafts and adjacent stuff, and Elsa Gate and Ryan Story. Actually, Ryan Story review was good. The kid, the kid has spent 30 years of his life just grinding the internet constantly. He must be tired. I tell you. But besides the point, I have been exposed personally to the internet for a very long time, and I have seen a lot of bullshittery that happens on the internet, as you would assume, since, well, it's the internet. Who would have guessed the internet has random dumbass shit, random things just happening on it? And at the end of the day, I really don't feel don't feel bad for the parents who complain that the internet ruined their kids, even though they left their kids to the internet scared. I really don't feel bad for them at all, because, well, they failed their one job as parents. Again, as I said, if you are not up to the task, just don't take the task. Just don't. And especially if you aren't up to the task and you still take the task, then don't complain that you failed horribly. Like, it is your fault for taking the task. It's not the kid's fault, not the internet's fault. The internet does whatever it wants. It's not your kid's fault, because the kid watches whatever its tiny brain allows. It's your fault for allowing unsupervised access to the internet. Nobody else's fault whatsoever. Clearly, don't let your kids be unsupervised on the internet. And internet videos for kids are just disgusting. Like, again, this type of disgusting content still exists, of people talking about decidedly unchild friendly topics and using child friendly imagery to talk about said topics, such that YouTube that this content is watching, worth promoting. Another thing is that short videos are much worse than long form videos, because long form videos you can filter them out kind of, but shorts, they just come up, and if you're a kid, impressionable kid, you probably won't skip nonsense bullshit that wastes a lot of your time, because it does waste a lot of your very crucial years. If a child is exposed to the internet at a very young age, it will probably ruin very important years of their life, and probably ruin some of their life if it gets really bad. Because, again, some, not all, but some child friendly content doesn't really help your child to develop mentally or in any way, shape, or form. For example, I've heard stories about people being forced to teach their children how to read, write, speak English at the age of 6. And it's sad to think that this kid has wasted his 6 years of his life, six of the most important development wise years on YouTube, wasting these years completely. But yeah, that's all that I have to talk about. That's about it for me. Bye.